So when my favorite moment was when we first walked into his class at the beginning of the year, and he had the word Haagen-Dazs written on the board, and he had asked us what we thought about the word. So then we said like it was high class, it was foreign, it was. So we said all these things about it, and he ended up telling us at the end that it didn't really mean anything. It was just a random word that the guy, the founder of it, just put together. So this really taught us about how the language, our class, was going to be taught, like how we focus on language, and it basically was like intro to the class. I like it.
My greatest memory of Mr. Morali was one time during wrestling practice. I said, "I feel like I'm going to die," and he said, "We all are dying at different speeds." That really touched me because it was pretty funny.
My first memory of Mr. Morali is when he first interviewed me. When I first came in, one of the first things I said was that I'm pretty good to think on my feet. Mr. Morali being very, I guess, inquisitive and also wanted to see how far he could push me was, he asked me, if you could be a part of a salad, what would it be? And I'll never forget that moment because that was one of the weirdest interview questions I ever got. But at that moment I felt like I was really at home at Florida.
My favorite thing about Mr. Morali's class was always our class discussions. He taught me how to make a solid argument.
My favorite memory with Mr. Morali definitely has to be on set of Parallel Parking. He was playing a driving instructor and he did an incredible job. He was really funny and he definitely made everyone laugh on set and in the audience.
My favorite memory of you is that every time, every once in a while, you kind of make these jokes, and these jokes turn into like a laughing hysteria among the group, and those little things help make my day. So I thank you.
One of my favorite things about Mr. Morali was that he's still alive. So when I first came to the school not too long ago, he was one of the first people that was very friendly to me, invited me to sit at the same lunch group together with the other teachers, and at the coffee house, the very first coffee house that we went to, he went up and he sang a song, and he devoted every single song to my two beautiful boys, which kind of got a chuckle in the audience.
It's very hard for me to pick out a singular memory of what I enjoyed most with Mr. Morali. Every moment I've spent with him has been just the greatest. I've loved every poetry club meeting because he always taught me something insightful, like the whole idea of being close, like the old belief of being closer to God and all those things that I thought were just very interesting.
My favorite memory of Mr. Morali has to be him laughing at my sarcastic and witty jokes and just like amusing him with my strangeness.
My favorite memory throughout the year in class, that's a tough one. Probably just today when we had to do a unit on propaganda, and well, I did an impression on you, and I don't know how you really took it, but it's all in good fun.
My most memorable Mr. Morali moment would be referring to a varsity wrestling match. I believe it was a 3-point match going into the last bout of the night, and our athlete was out there losing, and Mr. Morali, Coach Morali, was really motivating this young man and encouraging him to, lock up his cradle. And Mr. Morali was flat on the mat, himself belly down, pounding down on the mat because the boy did lock up the cradle and the referee wasn't calling the pin. And just the way that he was so excited that we ended up winning that bout, and the dual meet itself has to be one of the top moments that I recall of Coach Morali's coaching career.
My favorite memory of Morali would be the countless times when our class would not want to do the work, so instead of doing the work we would just distract them with conversation until the period ended, which was really fun to do because those conversations would be like really fun, really intriguing, and like just satisfying to just talk about.
I
I think my favorite moment with Mr. Morali is all those times that we have debates in his class that I can just share my opinion freely, and he always has something to say in such a positive manner, and it's very rare to find nowadays, but I'm gonna really miss that about his class.
I didn't really have like a specific favorite memory of him. I just enjoyed his presence in poetry.
My favorite moment with Mr. Morali is it's all those times when like I like point something out in class or I ask a question in class, and he's always there to help, and he's always there with full understanding, and even if it's a dumb question, he doesn't think it's dumb. He always like makes good use out of, I guess, my opinion on my questions.
My favorite memory with Mr. Morali would have to be last year at Poetry Club, where I wrote this acrostic poem using the letters to the word moist. And there was very little thought and creativity put into it, but the way he responded to how childish and immature that poem was astounding to say the least.
So I want to be an English teacher, and I want to teach high school as well, and like this year I came in like not really knowing the kind of teacher that I want to be, and I realized like after having Mr. Morali that I want to be just like him.
One thing Mr. Morali taught me was, to follow your dream and actually pursue it. Let it not just be a dream, but actually go ahead and run after it. And I really appreciate that. And you moving on to this journey really resembles that and setting a model for us.
He's taught me the importance of an extensive vocabulary, how it's always great to sound professional and to use big words. Throughout wrestling practice and school, I'm always blown away by Mr. Morali's vocabulary, and it's something I would like to strive for in my future. Mr. Morali, if you could give me a book of a lot of cool words before you leave, that would be much appreciated.
The most important thing I think he taught me was how to argue, basically, how to defend myself and how to attack an argument in a debate. And I feel like that's very important.
Something that Mr. Morali has taught me is to be constantly passionate about everything that you do. Whenever I see him teach, I just see the passion. It's like literally leaking out of him, and I love that, and I hope to be as passionate and as intelligent as he is one day.
He's taught me how to think outside of just what's on paper. So he taught me like a different facet of that, like thinking about rhetorical choice and everything, to really go outside of just what the person wrote on a piece of paper, to just really think more about why he did that or all that. So
He taught me that it's okay to lose in sports, but always want to strive to be a better player at the sport you're doing. So Mr. Morali gave me more incentive to become a better person and a better wrestler.
Dear Mr. Morali, thank you for teaching me how to be decent, how to be a productive member of society. The knowledge that you have taught me this year, especially in the times we live in today, have taught me how to be a decent human being, how to be informed, and where to get my knowledge.
What I've learned from you is that how to write better and not to be ashamed of what I write in terms of material to be used in poetry.
And what Mr. Morali taught me is that I shouldn't be afraid to think outside the box, and I should expand my horizons, not only with literature, but with myself as well.
The biggest thing I learned through Mr. Morali and his teaching was how to grow and evolve as a writer. I went into my sophomore year using the same AB rhyme scheme and putting very little imagery in it, and now I know how not to rhyme and make a poem good.
He always taught me to just never be afraid of be who I am and always be creative, even if I'm not the greatest at it. And I love him for that.
One night that was really good, he probably doesn't remember this because his memory's awful, but one time we went out to dinner. It was me, him, Miss Gillinson, and Miss Scare, and we were playing a game called Catchphrase, and Mr. Morali and I were on the team, and we smoked Sciarra and Gillinson so badly because the two of us were just like so very much on the same page. And I feel like it just sums up our friendship in such a great way. Like if I really had to sum up our friendship, I would say that he and I are generally on the same wavelength, like 9 out of 10 times. Everything that we do, we have the exact same sense of humor. We find the same stupid things funny. We can't stop making puns. So like that night was the most clear demonstration that he and I are both a little bit crazy, I think. But crazy in the same way, and that's why we were good friends. But the best part about being his friend, I would say, is that you never stop laughing. He is the best person to make you feel better, but he's also the first person you can turn to if you need to have a serious conversation. He is a loyal and wonderful friend.
You know, he's kind of got this odd but very funny sense of humor, and I truly appreciated that.
One of the things I'll definitely miss most is his laugh. He definitely has one of the most joyous personalities here, and that he makes everyone feel comfortable. He always makes sure that he's one of the few people that gets most of everyone's jokes, and I'll always miss having someone to pun around with. Yeah, Mr. Morali is going to be definitely missed here in Lodi, in that he just brings a lot of great tributes and attributes, I should say, and that he inspires not only his students but also his staff, and I definitely admire him, and hopefully he continue his legacy here.
Hey, Mr. Morali, I just wanted to thank you for all of your help that you've been to me in my early part of my career over these last couple of years, helping me out with things like homecoming and chaperoning and stuff like that, and for allowing me to help participate in different events like Z-Day. I know that was a lot of fun back in the day. And for better or worse, we'll always have our victory over the gym teachers in darts. Thank you and best of luck in your new place of business.
Bye, Morali. Have fun in Newark, and hope you have fun there.
So I wish you good luck, Mr. Morali, in your future endeavors. I really appreciate what you're doing, and good luck.
Mr. Morali will definitely be missed, and a lot of you will definitely miss you.
Thank you for everything you've always done.
Adios, Senor Morali.
See you, Mr. Morali.
Well, good luck to your new job. I hope they will appreciate you as much as we appreciate you over here, and good luck.
Mr. Morali, I'm gonna miss you so much. But best of luck to you and everything that you do. I hope that everyone you come across is fully inspired by you, like you've inspired us here at Lodi High School.
And good luck with your job. We're gonna miss you. Okay, good luck to you in Newark. They truly deserve you, and you're gonna do amazing.
I wish you the best, Mr. Morali. Thank you.
I just want to wish you the best of luck with your school.
Mr. Morali, we're gonna miss you, and we wish you the best of luck.
Bye.
Good luck.
Wish you the best.
Bye, Mr. Morali. I love you. You're amazing. Never stop being who you are.
Yourself.
Mr. Morali, I hope you are very happy in your new job. I wish you well, and hope you stay in touch throughout the years.
So my wishes for you at your new school, I hope that you find all the same happiness that you found here